Now they're very nervous.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us on World Water Monitoring Day here in sunny South Florida. My name is Allie Toomey. I am the Education Coordinator for Earth Echo International. We are live on Expedition Beyond the Dead Zones right now, examining some of South Florida's natural landscapes, wildlife. We've been looking at corals, and right now we're up in the northern part of the Everglades. Today is World Water Monitoring Day, so we are going to show each and every one of you how to monitor water in your own communities. It's really simple. We have our main host with us today is Josh Carrera.
Hi, everyone.
Josh is a board member for Earth Echo, and he is here to kind of guide everyone through the water monitoring process. With him, we have three international students. Do you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name is Carlos Riofrio, and I'm from Guayaquil, Ecuador. That it's in South America, and it's in the coast of my country. I'm 16 years old.
Well, my name is Claudia. I'm from Lima, Peru, also in the coast of my country, and I'm 15.
Okay, my name is Vanessa de la Cruz. I am 16 years old, and I am from Medellin, Colombia.
Great, and why don't we go, we also have a classroom joining us from Miami today. Why don't we go to Mr. Palladino's class, and why don't you guys say hi to everyone? All right, hello. And then we also have a class from Elgin, Illinois, Mrs. Perryman's class. You guys say hello.
Hi guys, my name is Eric Hernandez. I'm 17 years old.
Hi, I'm Abel Toposopan, 17 years old.
Hi, I'm Brian Munoz. I'm 17 years old. Yeah.
All right, so we will get back to all of our classrooms in just a little bit, but Josh is going to go ahead and take it away and get us started with some water quality monitoring.
Yep, so thank you all for being here today. We're here as part of the World Water Monitoring Challenge, which is an international education and outreach effort to connect people with their local water bodies and use citizen science to see how we can just have information about our local waterways. So what we're going to start with today is first of all, talk about what affects the health of water. What is water quality? So I'll turn that over to you guys. So what is water quality? What are the different things, or that when we're talking about water quality, what are different things that make it up?
What makes water quality are different parameters that we need to measure inside of the water. And that's what we're going to do maybe now.
All right, and yeah, go ahead.
I think that's something that can help us to decide if the quality of the water is good. It's like if it is drinkable, the pH, what else?
The temperature.
The temperature. And if it is good for animal, plants.
And yeah, and all these things are made up by the biology, the different chemistry, the physiological properties of the water. So turning it over to our virtual classrooms, what are some things that affect your local waterways, the water in your local area? And I guess we can start with IPREP. What are some of the things that are impacting your local waterways? You guys, I think you guys are muted, so we can't hear you.
Hi.
Hey, you guys might be muted. There we go.
Okay, things that affect our water is pollution, like runoff and fertilizer and things like that. And trash.
What about over? Yeah.
What? We can't hear you.
Say it louder.
Okay, things that affect our water is like pollution, like runoff and trash, and yeah.
Yeah. What about over at Deb's class? What are some of the?
Okay. So since we live in the northern region of the United States, like Illinois, we're tended to have more storms. So actually, these past weeks we've had more like storms and like rain. So like stormwater, like the stormwater runoffs have affected that, like our water, like pollution, also like trash, and just pretty much since we live in a colder region.
Huge stormwater problem. Pick up a lot of these pollutants. But yeah, absolutely great. So turning it over back to our team over here, we're ready to get started with our water, collecting our water. What specifically, what parameters or characteristics are we gonna in our collection? What do you guys think?
Well, the first parameter that we're going to out of the water in this pound that we have in the youth.
The the oxygen
And there's one more. Yep.
yeah, exactly.
Turbidity. We'll be looking at pH.
Before you guys get started,
I do just want to mention
there's a question forum underneath the video, so you guys if you're out there watching live, submit your questions using the question forum. He is caught in a helicopter. Hopefully he will make it by the end, but his place in his app.
Let's go, guys. Grab this. Carlos, can you explain to me one more time what do we have here and what will we be doing?
Yeah, sure. Well, here we have like the bottle in which we're going to monitor all the parameters that we're going to measure for the water quality. But first, we're going to get the temperature of it. And the first step that we're going to make is to put this underneath the surface of the pound that we have right here and count 30 seconds.
Perfect. And I just want to, before you start, I want to point out that in our jar that we have right here, when you first start your kit, you have to put the Secchi disc, which will give us information about turbidity, and also the temperature sticker. So we've already done this, but before you go out and collect your water, you want to make sure that these two things are stuck on the jar. So take it away, Carlos.
Sure.
And while you're doing this, you want to completely submerge the jar into the water first. So completely submerge.
30 seconds.
Wait 30 seconds, and while it's submerged, after 30 seconds, you'll want to close the jar with the lid while the jar is under the water.
We're now in 20. We have 5 seconds left, so what about if we count in a glass as a group? Is that
All right,
okay?
yeah, let's do that.
5,
4, 3, 2, 1. And make sure that you leave the jar under the water. Put the jar under the water and close the lid under the water. There you go.
And that you don't grab any wildlife.
Yeah, we just saw some fish swimming around here, so make sure that while you're collecting the water, nothing else gets in there.
And that's maybe a good indicator that the water is in a great quality. Oh. So the temperature of the water right here where the thermometer is 30. We see it when it is all green. So here's 30 Celsius.
30 Celsius.
We're measuring in Celsius.
And why do we want to capture water right away? Why is that something that we're interested in measuring as soon as possible?
Because it will change.
Because it can.
With the water, because look, for example, the sun.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, yeah, as he said, like, here, like, where is it? I mean, like, the number that turns green, if you see, like, here, it's like, kind of green, but a little bit, just a little bit, on 30. It means that,
as you can see, it is changing now, but it's because of the sun.
yeah.
So we have to do it as fast as possible. Yeah.
Perfect.
In order to get the measure more accurate.
Yeah.
Great. So now we're going to go back. We got the temperature, and we will check out the other parameters that we're interested in. Yeah, it's a good thing we measured it right away because it's so hot out here. Yeah.
So make sure to unmute it. Or maybe not.
So before we start any of our other tests, Elgin High School, maybe do you guys want to tell us why temperature is important? What can it tell you?
So pretty much temperature is important for like various reasons. First of all, temperature affects wildlife. The different temperatures support different animals and plant species. And also, like, since temperature isn't always constant, it's important to always regularly, keep checking in on what the temperature is to make sure if there's any irregularities.
So what? Yeah, that's great. So what were your temperatures at the time that you guys collected your data?
All right, so we took the data at 7:20 this morning, and we got the temperature to be 14 degrees Celsius. So because we live in a colder region, we're going to have colder water, so that means we're most likely to have more dissolved oxygen in our water.
Right, exactly. Mr. Palladino, your class, what were your results? Make sure that you unmute.
There we go. Okay, so we collected our water yesterday at 2 o'clock, and the temperature at collection time was 30 degrees Celsius.
Right, so you're close to us.
Say again?
Like, 30. Use the green.
Now we'll jump over to the next one. Dissolved oxygen. This takes 5 minutes, so we're going to start this right now. So let's get started, guys.
Sure.
So walk us through what we're doing right now.
So first we're gonna sink.
Yep.
Sink this. This
Completely.
Yeah.
Under the water. And we are going to put 2 pills of the oxygen.
Be sure that like here it says DO. Look.
Yeah, make sure you don't want to put the wrong pills in there because we have others
For pH.
for pH.
Yeah.
So make
Yeah.
sure.
For pH. Yeah.
So make sure you look at the back and that it says DO.
So we have 2 pills.
So right now we are opening the tabs, dropping the 2 pills of DO.
And now the other one. Good.
Wait. Okay.
So while we're doing this, I want to ask you guys, why is dissolved oxygen important?
Well, first of all, we are going now to dissolve like the tablets on it, and we don't have to shake it like crazy.
Just slow,
It's slowly. It's in a slowly motion.
That's it. So we have to wait like 5 minutes. That's why we're doing this first.
Because we can do something else, the other tests. We are going to continue with the pH.
Yeah, so now we're going to continue over to the pH. So tell us what we're doing here.
We're going to do
the same.
the same. But we are going to do the different the pH one.
Like here we have like 10 milliliter. Wait,
Millimeters.
millimeter.
Milliliters.
So when you're collecting pH, make sure that the jar you're using, that you collect up to 10 milliliters of water.
Okay.
And then again, look back and make sure that it's the pH.
Yeah, and here, Joe, we're gonna just one peel.
Here is just one.
So now, in this case, we're gonna shake it like.
You can shake it however you want. You ask something, Josh.
Yeah, so after this, I wanted to know from you guys what is dissolved oxygen, or why is oxygen important when we're looking at the water quality, when we're thinking about water quality?
Well, dissolved oxygen is the gaseous element of oxygen, O2, that we have in an aqueous solution. And the importance of it is because oxygen, it's the element that gives all forms of life. So it measures that if you have a lot of oxygen in the water, be less than 100 ppm, you will have a lot of wildlife inside, maybe of the pond or the lake or stream, whatever.
And by ppm we mean parts per million. And so that's great. Dissolved oxygen. Why we care about dissolved oxygen and what it tells us. For pH, I wanted to turn it over to Mrs. Perryman's class. Why do you think that? What does pH tell us about water quality?
Just that there's a parameter. You want it 6 to 8.
Well, pretty much for pH is that you want to be in the range between 6 and 8. You don't want to be too acidic or too basic.
So what's too acidic and what's too basic?
So basic would be like a high number of 14, or acidic would be like a low number of 1.
And all right, and what was your reading for? Now let's jump over to the readings. We'll start with you all. What were your readings for dissolved oxygen first?
Ironically, we expected a higher amount of dissolved oxygen, but due to eutrophication, which is when like lots of plants that are more around here in ocean and the water bodies die, it causes less oxygen in the water. So we got a pretty low reading. We got 4 ppm, which was unexpected, but our results demonstrated.
Yeah, and the way we're figuring out, or measuring, or we're looking what our dissolved oxygen is. Your World Water Monitoring Challenge kit comes with this scale right here, which you can compare your results and see where the quality of your water. And dissolved oxygen was a big theme during our last expedition. So let's take it over to Mr. Palladino's class. What were the results for your dissolved oxygen?
It's for the
Yeah.
pH.
No, dissolved oxygen.
Okay. When we measured the dissolved oxygen, the amount in the water, we got that it was 8 ppm.
All right.
8 ppm.
How much?
8.
8.
Yes.
Yep. So now we're going to look at our results. So you guys want to give us a rundown of what?
I want to hear that you, the white side here, like it looks better against the white. I think that it's between 7 and 8, but yeah.
It's more like 7. I think it's neutral.
Yeah, it's neutral, so
It's neutral solution.
it means that it's good. I mean, like,
It is the water that we use to drink.
That we should be drinking.
Yeah.
But obviously, this pound water, it's not drinkable for us because there are other factors that we need to measure, like bacteria, that will take like 2 days to measure that parameters.
Yeah.
Right. So even though it may be 7 and that's neutral, your water may have bacteria. So that's an important thing to realize. So we can jump over to turbidity now. And but before we jump into that, actually, let's take it over to Mrs. Perryman's class and let us know your results for pH. What did you guys get being in a big city?
Alright, so for our pH, we got a reading of 8. So, the reason why it was like a high, like a one number higher than what, like a 7, is because where we live in, like our creek, there's a sheet of dolomite underneath, which is a limestone. So since right now it's cold, it cracks, and like the water in that seeps up and contaminates the water.
What about Mr. Palladino's class? What were the results for your levels?
Okay.
The level of pH in the water was 7, which is neutral.
Neutral. All right. Yep. So since I have you guys hanging out right now, and I'm talking before we jump into our next exam, you all want to give an overview of why what turbidity is? You guys muted yourselves.
Okay. I can repeat the question. Can you repeat the question? You kind of faded out.
Yeah. So our last test, and we just want an overview of why is it? What is it?
What?
Why is the pH important?
Turbidity. Turbidity.
Okay.
Oh, turbidity. Okay. Let's go on to turbidity. We have to open that.
Just asking us why is it important?
Yes. Why is turbidity important?
Because turbidity, while like a little bit is good, but too much can cause like the dying of some like species that live in an area. But when you have a little, it's good because some organisms can feed off of some of that, like I don't know, the plants or whatever you find on the water.
Yeah, that's great. Building up on that, how cloudy the water is. So just keep that in mind as well. We can jump right into our final exam. You guys want to take the same? Yeah, it is. We're gonna maybe I'll flip the camera. Yeah.
Okay.
The camera, not the water.
Yeah. Oh, hold on, So I'm gonna pick up the computer because our Secchi disk is actually in the jar, and that'll show us what our turbidity is like. So let's.
So we think that it has like zero.
Yeah.
Zero
Now, if we compare it with our schedule, we can see that our water inside of the pound, it's 0 JTU. That it's the measurement that we are using to obviously get the parameter of turbidity.
Yeah.
All right.
We are missing this one.
Yeah, the sulfoxygen.
Oh, this is something. Okay.
Do you want our
class? Yeah. What is the results for your turbidity?
All right. So I'm going to show you, do the same thing here. Okay. And, all right. I think it's as good as we can get there. All right, go ahead, guys. Take it away.
All right, so our level would be around 40 GTU. JTU. There is, like, the water is pretty, it does have a high level of turbidity, or what others might consider normal. But this is due a lot over here due to, like, situations such as erosion is big cause over here, especially right now when it's raining. That's when, like, the soil starts coming off the river banks and goes inside. So it does dirty up a lot of our water.
Great. Let's take it over to Mr. Palladino's class over at iPrep. What would the turbidity of your
Okay. The turbidity of our water was 0 JTU. We could see perfectly through the water. Let's do that.
All right, so it was 0, right?
Yes.
Cool. Well, right now, I want to take the opportunity to introduce Philippe, who's just come back from a super helicopter ride over the Everglades. So, Philippe is excited. all of you. And stay tuned. Hey there.
There's Philippe.
Carlos? Vanessa from Colombia. Hey, everybody in there. Terrific, terrific to see you all. Last year we were just up in a helicopter. You guys are place in the agricultural area and which is all very relevant to what you're doing here. So really excited. I've been looking forward to this. So let's see. I can see the screen a little bit here. Tell me a little bit about what's going on with the water quality. This is water quality from this lake, right?
Yeah.
Right. So what have you three found?
Like, first the temperature that it's like 30. Yeah. Then we have seen the pH, like it's kind of 7, between 7 and 8. So
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, it's good because it's neutral. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have like recently seen turbidity that it's 0 GTU, and the thing we have like in a few minutes we're gonna see the dissolved oxygen.
Okay, and so you got the Secchi disc in there, huh? Let's see here. Yeah, so the turbidity is not too bad.
No.
So the pond is looking pretty good then, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good news.
You okay? Sure.
So how do you test the dissolved oxygen? What's going on with that? You said that you're going to know that in a few minutes?
Yeah, because we need like 5 minutes to do it.
Okay.
But
so,
we're already, I think that we can do it now because it's time.
Yeah, you timed it out? All right,
yeah,
terrific.
So now we can see that if we're going to measure in even numbers, so it's not a 4 ppm and neither an 8 ppm. So we can say that it's near 6 parts per million.
About 6.
In the dissolved oxygen of our water from the pound.
It means good. I mean.
And that's good?
It is good. It means that it's good for plants, for animals, and even for us. If we do the other probes, the other tests.
So nothing's suffocating in that lake then?
No.
Yeah.
Terrific.
And we saw some fish actually. Right?
Yeah.
We saw.
That's why maybe all the parameters give us the wildlife that we have in the pound, because when we get our hand in depth of the pound, we see a lot of fishes swimming around our hand.
And also that there's like plants, so it means that it's good, like
terrific
parameters. Yeah.
Yeah, and we were also making reference that the pH that we have is 7, so it's like a drinkable water, but it's not drinkable for us because of all the other parameters that we need to measure it in order to make it drinkable.
Of course, you have to check for bacteria and all sorts of other things. Make it sick. Yeah. But you good. Parameters are. What have the other classes been doing?
Deb, let's take it over to your class first.
Alright, so we did the same parameters, so we measured temperature. For us, it was at 14 degrees Celsius, and that's due to because we live in the northern region, so it's tended to be colder up here. Also, you want to tell about that?
Now, where are you all?
Where are we?
Elgin, Illinois.
Outside Chicago.
Outside Chicago.
All right. So you're from a Great Lake or from a local pond? Where'd you get the water from?
We got the water from a creek near our school.
Okay. Terrific. And so natural for it to be a little bit cooler. What else did you find?
Well, right now is particularly a bad time for good water quality due to there's been lots of rainstorms, so a lot of erosion is messing with the turbidity. And also, right now, since summer's ending, it was a pretty hot summer. So also the ppm was pretty low. It was 4, which was unexpected. Normally, due to it's colder over here, we should have a higher level.
And then your pH.
Also, for our pH level, we got 8, which is okay. It's in between that range, but it was due because of the dolomite that's under the creek, which is it's a limestone. So right now, since it's cold, it cracks, and the water in that seeps up and contaminates it, making it a higher pH.
Need more bass then.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, you guys keep freezing. We're not sure if you're done with us or or what you need.
You guys are talking, we cannot hear you.
We're not sure if you guys are still talking to us. It's kind of frozen.
Deb, we can hear you in my end.
All right, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties on the other side, but we are just about to wrap up here in South Florida anyway. Before we wrap up, I want to note that everyone that was collecting water quality today was doing so with our World Water Monitoring Challenge kits. These are great kits from a partner of ours, and they are available to schools, students, individuals all across the world. They're really simple kits with just a few parameters in them that are a great way to start water quality monitoring in your own area. And the coolest part about it is that they were submitting their data to an international database. So I'm just going to take everyone to that database really quick so you can see the website and how you could submit your own data. The website is called monitorwater.org. So again, it's monitorwater.org. And when you go there, it's where you can order the test. But the great thing is there's a nice map of data from all around the world. So you're able to actually set up an account, input your own data, and then view data from others who have entered it all around the world as well. There are water quality monitoring, they're all across the United States, Latin America, South America, Europe, Asia, and Africa as well. So it's a really, really great project that you all can participate in. I just pulled up a site from Georgia here, and we were able to see water temperature. We're able to see that they have a pH around 7, and then we can see that they have a lot higher dissolved oxygen than the national average or the world average that you see here in green. They tend to have 10 parts per million as opposed to the average is around 6, which is what we got here in South Florida. So it's a really great site that everyone can take advantage of.
Well, and I just want to point out also that, you know, one of the big things that we see today is with climate change, some of the other big global environmental problems, is that water is really one of the defining issues of the 21st century. And, you know, there's a lot of doom and gloom. There's a lot of bad news out there that we read in science and in magazines and in newspapers, see on television and the internet. And, you know, there's not always a lot of good news. And I think that this kit and what you all are doing is part of that good news, because it puts the power back in your hands to actually be educated, be informed about what exists. And the key to doing and fixing any problems is first having knowledge. So, you know, sometimes when we feel helpless and hopeless, these kinds of tools really prove that all of us can actually do something.
Great. I mean, that's right, Philippe. I think this is a really great program for students all across the world to equip themselves with that knowledge that you were talking about. So we are just about out of time for today. We will let everyone get back to their regularly scheduled classes, and I think it's time for you guys to go on out yourselves and celebrate World Water Monitoring Day by monitoring some water in your own communities and sharing your results with us. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.